What's good, guys? Welcome back, guys. We're back at it again with UFC 312 full card predictions, where I break down each and every single one of these fights. Of course, we can't talk about this week without talking about last week, guys. I hope you guys cashed out. Had to take that one. Said Nurmagomedov ends up losing. My lock of the week ends up crashing. 5-fight lock of the week streak is now crashed and burned into 0. One of the things that I say is one of the best things about hitting rock bottom is that there's only one way to go. Fuck it. We start all over again. Lock of the week streak starts this week. Here we go. Tune in for Wednesday for my 6 best bets and my lock of the week. I've only had my lock of the week streak crushed twice. Karine Silva and Said Nurmagomedov. Said Nurmagomedov had 5 minutes of cardio. Didn't put up that good of a performance that I expected to. And I expected him to have a little bit more cardio. I don't know why. When you look at the Jonathan Martinez fight, I just thought that he should have been able to work on that. And he could have tweaked it. He won the first round, but then the second and third he got whooped. So I'm just upset about my lock of the week. Davis, I had Zaim. Of course, I pick flip. And then I'm heavy on Davis. It's fine. I don't know if Davis got injured or what happened with Davis, but he's pulling guard the first 13 seconds of the fight. It happens. All right. Sharmagomedov. Obviously, I wasn't able to watch so the main card I wasn't able to watch live because I was working. Sharmagomedov got whooped. From what I saw, it was an absolute. There was no robbery that was going to happen there. That was all Michael Venom Page, and that guy moves up a weight class and looks phenomenal. So I'm not mad with that pick at all. Obviously, Israel Adesanya is by far one of my worst picks. I had Naimov, and then I official pick flip to Israel Adesanya. But I'm just happy that I get to see Israel Adesanya live. You know, I got to see him win live once because I don't know if he's ever gonna get a win again. So with that being said, guys, I ended up going 7-4. I'm looking to get more than 7 fights right this card. I didn't go negative. I've never gone negative, but I do not like getting more than 4, 5, 6 picks wrong. It's not my thing, guys. I don't like doing this. I don't like getting a lock of the week and getting it wrong. So from now on, the lock of the weeks are going to be a little bit more. I'm not going to take a risk with Nurmagomedovs. I'm not going to take that risk no more because I was playing a little bit of a ball game with that lock of the week risk. But as I get my lock of the week streak going, it's going to be more formal and it's going to have a better format. So with that being said, guys, I hope you guys cashed out. Let's talk about the bets. Mike Davis. What is Mike Davis doing to me right now? And this guy he put Bobby Green. Bobby Green going like this. Dude, that was me, bro. That was me. I had Mike Davis in a parlay. Ended up crashing. It's all right. And the only bet that I cashed for the night was the prelims at 11:40 a.m. February 1st. Muhammad Naimov by submission on points. Took him at a -115. And then I just watched all the rest of the card for fun because I was busy. I wasn't able to live bet. I wasn't able to place any bets because it was early. So I wasn't able to place any bets. So this was the only bet that I had for Israel Adesanya versus now Said Nurmagomedov, UFC Saudi Arabia, Muhammad Naimov by submission on points. After I saw Said Nurmagomedov lose, a lot of my parlays crashed. And then I was just like, you know what? Well, actually, this was the prelim. This was before Said Nurmagomedov fought. So I just said, you know what? I'm just going to place a bet. And I had a lot of parlays, so I was like, you know what? If I have a lot of parlays, I'm just going to cash out with this one. So I let all the parlays ride, and unfortunately, they all burned. But this was the only cash out for Saturday. Muhammad Naimov by submission on points. Let's go. Now we're going to be talking about UFC 312. Jenkins du Plessis versus Shane Strickland to the rematch. It's going to be an absolute banger fight, guys. Obviously, when I look at this fight, I think about how almost a year ago, or already a year ago, at UFC 297 in Canada, I don't know, some people say it was a robbery. Definitive. No matter what you think, it was an absolute banger scrap, and I was pretty excited watching that fight. I was on the edge of my seat watching that fight, so I expect the same thing for this fight card. Obviously, this fight card is stacked. Is something that a lot of people won't say, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fight card. I'm blessed. I'm happy. It's a 13 fight card. Thank you guys for giving me a 13 fight card. Thank you to UFC. We're going back to Australia. Let's go back to Australia. Let's go for the win. Let's predict this entire card. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to be breaking down the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. Let's get into it, guys. Do you guys know who Tumendemberel is? If you know, you know. If you remember that fight with Carlos Hernandez. It was an absolute war. And I love that fight. By far, one of my most favorite fights. So let's get into it. UFC 312. Here we go. I can't wait for Tatiana Suarez versus Wei Li. Here we go. Hung Sung Park versus Nam Tumendemberel. Sung Young Park or Sung Park. Obviously, it's Hung Sung Park. So correct me if my pronunciation is off, if it's wrong. Sung Park, beautiful grappler, very timid before he shoots for his shot. He can usually find a finish. His most recent win is over Shannon Ross. He has a difficult test ahead of him in Nam, a powerhouse who just recently lost to Carlos Hernandez, where he looked competitive till late. Sometimes loves to stay in the pocket. He's slow. He showed a lot of power, but he chases a finish too hard and becomes overzealous. A grappler versus a powerhouse. If there's a finish by KO, it's on Nyam's side. But time after time, the relentless powerhouse being too aggressive can end up with him being on his back. If Sung Park can shoot a nice takedown, but his takedown selection isn't the best, he should be able to slow down the fight and fight at his pace. Nam needs to keep this pace on the feet. He needs to keep this fight on the feet. And he needs to keep it at his pace. Sometimes he gets way too over-aggressive chasing for a finish. But I'll go Sung Park to win by decision. Majority Tapology is going Park. And I want to mention, guys, this is one of those fights where as we get up on the card, it's going to be a little bit more harder and harder to predict each and every single one of these fights. I'm going Sung Park. He's the slight favorite, I believe, at a minus 200, I believe, 250. This is going to be, it says he's a minus 280 right here, but on my bookie, it's not out yet. I will be going Sung Park, guys, and I'm going to be going Sung Park by decision. Obviously, this is going to be one of those fights where you never know what could happen. Nam could just get the KO, land a beautiful overhand right, and just finish him. But I do think Sung Park should be able to find his distance, find his range, find his shot selection, find the shot, take him down, slow down the fight, and win this fight by unanimous decision. It's going to be a very hard fight, very low confidence on Sung Park. As we get closer, maybe the face-offs, like when we saw Fareed Zaim and Mike Davis, we can see that Zaim is so much taller than Mike Davis. So that's why the face-offs on Friday are very important at the ceremonial weigh-in. Obviously, we know the stats are here, but sometimes they're not even accurate when they're right here. So Nam has the longer reach. He should be slightly taller. But I will say, guys, a takedown changes everything. So give me Sung Park to win that fight by unanimous decision. Another banger fight right here. Cody Steele versus Rongzhu. When I look at this fight, guys, it's by far one of these fights that I've been studying for almost a month now. I've been looking at UFC 312 for almost a month. Minus 270 for Cody Steele versus Rongzhu is plus 230. Cody Steele is another grappler, but a way better chain wrestler than who we were just talking about prior, Sung Park. I think Cody Steele's chain wrestling is miles ahead of Sung Park, and he has excellent shot selection. I think he's very good on the ground and decent on the stand-up, and Cody's undefeated, matched up against a powerhouse, Rongzhu, an excellent distance striker, and Zhu does better on the front foot, like most fighters, but he has a negative striking differential, averages more than 2 takedowns per fight, 62% takedown defense, 62% takedown accuracy. Rongzhu just lost by TKO to Chris Padilla, where we knew that was a bad TKO. He couldn't continue, where he didn't look his best. But just like the last fight, Rongzhu is more vicious. I will say, Cody needs to control the pace and slow down this fight to wrestle. UFC debut for Cody, and you know when you're making a UFC debut, sometimes you get the first day jitters, you get cold feet, and you're not performing the way you normally would. I do think Cody Steele should be able to win this fight, but we have to mention, guys, Rongzhu is the powerhouse. If there's any finish in this fight, obviously majority Tapology is favoring Steele to finish this fight inside the distance, but who's to say Rongzhu can't get a beautiful knockout? Obviously, he had that tough fight against Chris Padilla, doctor stoppage. I believe that's when his eye blew up like a bubble, and he was no longer able to continue. I will say with this fight right here, Rongzhu's very young. He has more time to get better, and I feel like Cody Steele should be able to edge out a good victory. I do not know if it's going to be a ground and pound TKO or if it's going to be a standing up TKO or what type of TKO. I'm going to be going ground and pound type TKO, and I'm going to go second round ground and pound TKO for Cody Steele to win this fight after chain wrestling hard in the first round, getting a nice takedown in the second, and having some beautiful ground and pound and having a beautiful ground and pound finish over Rongzhu. But Rongzhu's very tough. Dude, if that doctor never stopped it, Rongzhu would have kept on fighting. Rongzhu was not going to be out of that fight. Obviously, he couldn't continue, can't see, but Rongzhu was not going to quit in that fight if you asked him, in my opinion. If you think otherwise, you think otherwise. But give me Cody Steele to win this fight. I'll go by ground and pound, and I'll go by round 2 ground and pound. Let's go. TKO. Let's go, my guy Cody Steele. Let's go. Up the card. Obviously, you may not know these guys, but this is by far one of my favorite fighters, guys. Anshul, Jubli. I know. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Minus 400 for Quillan. And if I'm pronouncing it wrong, correct me. Salkilld or Salkilld. Quillan, I'll just call him Quillan versus Anshul Jubli, who's a plus 330. Quillan is making his UFC debut against one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time. Quillan loves to strike. His bread and butter is getting you comfortable to strike, and then he shoots. And he does find a way to finish, which is something that a lot of fighters can't do, but he may look for that finish a little too often. Jubli has had a tough start to the UFC. He just beat Viacheslav, and then he lost to Mike Breeden, but arguably he was winning that fight prior to the third round. Jubli has good cardio, but it feels like his world collapsed in front of him in that third round against Breeden. He needs heart, he needs grit, he needs toughness. This is his toughest test yet against a brawler looking to take you down and mess you up. Quillan to win by KO on points and to have a successful UFC debut. But I will say, guys, there is a lot of people making their UFC debut today. Not today, Saturday. There's a lot of people making their UFC debut Saturday. And you never know with that. Whenever there's a guy making their UFC debut, they get nervous, hometown crowd, something's off, something happens. I don't know if he's coming into this fight with something. The first round jitters, you're practicing, something, you messed up in training, your hand sprains, something happens, cold feet. I love watching Jubli fight, guys, and it was disappointing to see him get finished in that fight by right hook. I believe it was third round. Just let me double check to make sure it was the third round. It was a very, very crazy fight, and Mike Breeden starts barking. He ends up winning. Beautiful dog, beautiful win. I will say I'm going to go Quillan, Salkilld to win this fight, guys, and I'm going to go by KO on points. When I look at this fight, 25 years old, 5-year difference in age, 6'0", 75-inch reach is one of my most important factors that I look at. I think he should be able to find distance. He might mix it up with a nice little takedown, but I expect him to finish this fight, guys. I'm going to go by third round TKO. I'll go late third round TKO. Jubli should have better cardio, and if I'm on Jubli's team, I want him to be able to hammer leg kicks. We got to hammer some more leg kicks, and we have to work on our heart. I don't know how you're going to increase your toughness, but you got to get that dog in you, Jubli. Come on, my guy. You got to win this fight. You have to win this fight. I'm going to be rooting for you, Jubli. Let's go. I'm going to go my guy Quillan, though. I'm going to go by second or third round TKO. Let's go, Quillan. Let's go. Kevin Jousset versus Jonathan Micallef. Kevin Jousset minus 250. Micallef is a plus 190. This is one of those fights where it's another UFC debut. Had to take a sip. Minus 250 for Kevin Jousset. Jonathan Micallef is a plus 190. Jonathan Micallef is making his UFC debut. And he's going against a tough battle. No pun intended. Kevin Jousset, who just recently lost to Brian Battle. So you see what I'm doing here. Jonathan is he's decent, but is a better wrestler than he is a striker. He can't find a finish if his life depended on it, and he just lays and prays. Matched up against Kevin Jousset, a great striker who recently just lost to Brian Battle at UFC Paris. Sometimes Kevin is timid, way too timid, waiting for the counter shot. Kevin will be taller, but the reach is on Jonathan's side. Kevin Jousset looked very good against Brian Battle, in my opinion. He kept it on the feet until he got finished in the second round. I'll pick Kevin Jousset to win by decision. So, I know a lot of people say that Kevin Jousset, obviously he got manhandled against Brian Battle, but he was able to keep that fight on the feet. He had a very good takedown defense. And we know Brian Battle struggled to take down Randy Brown as well and had a very competitive fight against him. So, no shame in losing to Brian Battle, by far one of the GOATs. I will say Jonathan Micallef, I believe he comes from Dana White Contender Series. His most recent win is against Muhammad Ado by submission, triangle choke. You don't want to go to the ground with this guy. I'm going to go Kevin Jousset, low confidence. I'm going to take him by decision. But this guy can get tangled up and he could be on the verge of a 2-fight losing skid. You don't want to be in a position where you're losing again and again and again and again like Israel Adesanya. But I will say, guys, I'm going to go Kevin Jousset to beat the captain, Jonathan Micallef. And I will say this is going to be a very competitive fight. The reach is 2-inch reach advantage, but Jonathan Micallef can use that to his advantage. I know his striking is not that good. He's going to be looking to just take down Kevin Jousset, but Kevin Jousset has very good takedown defense. So give me Kevin Jousset to win this fight by 29-28 unanimous decision after getting taken down the first round and then having a successful second and third round. Let's go. My most anticipated fight right here. Aleksandre Topuria versus Colby Thicknesse. Sounds like some Japanese name, but that is absolutely crazy. I'm excited for this fight. I am waiting and I'm counting down the hours, the minutes, and the days until this fight happens. Minus 440 for Aleksandre Topuria versus Colby Thicknesse. Plus 310. Two new completely fighters to the UFC making their UFC debut. One of my most anticipated fights on this card. Colby has Volk on his side and Aleksandre has Merab and Topuria in his corner. I don't know how true that is, but I heard Merab Dvalishvili wants to be in his corner. And we know they talk very highly about Topuria's brother. This is a very competitive fight with a great history. Colby is taking this fight on very, very short notice, 1 week notice. Alex Volkanovski speaks very highly on Colby. Colby loves the clinch work. Clinch, then goes for the shot. Colby needs to wrestle. He is too hittable on the feet, but he's matched up against his toughest test yet. One of the biggest hype trains of 2025, Aleksandre Topuria. Very insane modified grappler mixed with relentless pressure. He does have one loss on his record. That was 10 years ago, up 2 weight classes, but I doubt he's better than his brother. But I can't wait for this matchup. Topuria was matched up against Cody Haddon previously, and Topuria was the dog. Now the odds have completely switched and flipped upside down. Topuria is a massive favorite. I'll pick Topuria by KO on points, maybe a nice little submission. But I will say, guys, with this being said, this is going to be one of those fights where this guy, Topuria, might not even be anywhere near his brother. The last name carries you by miles. We saw Said Nurmagomedov lose to Vinicius Oliveira. I don't know if I'll ever see a Nurmagomedov win again. You know, where are these Nurmagomedovs? I don't really see them anymore. But I will say, guys, with this being said, I'm going to go Aleksandre Topuria, and I'm going to take double chance. I'm going to take him by KO on points. We know Topuria's first couple of fights, Ilya Topuria, were by submission. And I believe like he got 8 of his first fights by submission. So we don't know with this guy. He might get a nice little submission to win this fight. I hope he's been training hard with his brother. I'm going to go Aleksandre Topuria by KO round 2 or by on points. I'm going to take double chance by KO on points. Maybe turn to minus 440 into a minus 230. We saw with the Shamil Ghazi if I took him by KO on points. And that ended up hitting. Obviously, I had a parlay with him, but I should have cashed out sooner. But Aleksandre Topuria to win this fight by KO on points. Double chance, always for the win. Double chance is the clutch of MMA. Let's go. Cong Wang versus Bruna Brasil. By far one of my most anticipated fights again. Minus 480 for Cong Wang versus Bruna Brasil, who's a plus 330. Cong Wang got fraud checked as a minus 1300 favorite. She gets too cocky, shows up to the face-offs with face paint, but can't defend a submission if her life depended on it. Cong Wang got absolutely manhandled by Gabriela Fernandez, dropped and then submitted by a rear naked choke and tapped so quick. Cong Wang needs this loss, in my opinion, in order to become a better kickboxer and work way better sub-defense. She already has the takedown defense, but I don't know if her chin is questionable or if that was just a one-time thing. Fighting Nerds is with Bruna Brasil. Beautiful Bruna Brasil. Giat loves to scrap, keeps it on the feet, goes straight into blitz, looks for a step over takedown. Sometimes her shot selection isn't the best, and her striking differential is terrible. She's hit with over 3 strikes per minute. She just recently beat Molly McCann and destroyed her. She just recently destroyed Molly McCann when she was a massive dog. She fraud checked Molly McCann. Cong Wang is a minus 1-800 gambler type fight. She sucks, but I'll pick Cong Wang. With this fight right here, guys, I'm very low confidence on Cong Wang. I don't really... bang, bang. I had her in my 6 best bets. Bang, bang. And she sold. She sold that shit. She sold that shit. So with that being said, guys, I think this is a minus 1-800 gambler type of fight. 1-800 gambler type of fight. This is one of those fights where Gabriela Fernandez has a lot of hype on her side because she just beat Molly McCann. She comes from Fighting Nerds, all that hype. But I'm going to go Cong Wang the Joker. Hopefully this is a one-time thing for the China girl. And hopefully she doesn't get fraud checked and loses 2 in a row. With a record of 6-1-0, recently just coming undefeated, being a minus 1,300 and losing. What is this? Payne Talbot? Come on, Cong Wang. Lock in. Lock in. Give me Cong Wang to win this fight by KO on points. She's not going to find a submission. Her takedown, she's never going to shoot a takedown unless she does here. But she doesn't wrestle. She doesn't look for a submission. And she better have improved her submission defense. Because one day you're going to be on your back. You're going to be on your stomach on the mat. And you're going to have to defend a good rear naked choke. And if you can't defend it and you just tab really quick, come on, you gotta show me some more grit. So give me Cong Wang to win this fight by KO on points. I'll go by KO round 2. If it's KO round 2, she does have some very, very deceptive power, which is why I was very hyped on her. But I did lose a lot of hype after she lost. Give me Cong Wang, the Joker. Bang, bang. Come on, I don't want to do this and then you lose. Bang, bang. Give me Cong Wang to win by KO round 2 or on points. I'll take double chance. Let's go. Up the card, up the card, up the card. Tom Nolan versus Slava Claus. Dude, I hate Slava Claus. I hate Slava Claus. Dude, this guy's one of the most unpredictable guys to pick, bro. This guy's a win, lose, win, draw, win, lose type of fighter. Tom Nolan, plus 118. Borshchev, minus 150. I hate predicting a Slava Claus fight. This guy got dropped and bullied by Chase Hooper, and Tom Nolan has a very questionable baby chin. Both of these guys are going to go to absolute war. These guys eat punches for breakfast and have terrible striking defense. Tom Nolan just beat Alex Reyes by decision, matched up against Borshchev, who everyone hypes up as a great striker, but he got dropped by Chase Hooper, and he has a 36% takedown defense and has gotten taken down 29 times in 7 UFC fights. He just destroyed James Liontop, who he went to split decision with, which is not a good look. Is this Mauricio Rufy? You can't finish Liontop? No, I'm just kidding. He went to split decision with James Liontop, and I think Slava Claus is nowhere near his prime anymore. Borshchev is a better striker, but it seems like he's getting way older. Tom Nolan should be able to win this fight, but let's see how this goes. I'll pick baby chin Borshchev, but if he sells, I'm never picking him again. Obviously, I'm trolling a little bit. But Slava Claus got absolutely bullied and dog-walked by Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper is Slava Claus' dad. Like, he owns Slava Claus bad. Because the fact that Chase Hooper was dropping you, bro, where's your chin? I think maybe I'm talking a little too much, but I think I could eat a Chase Hooper punch straight to the jaw. Or maybe not. Maybe I get flatline KO'd. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to go Slava Claus. All jokes aside, he's very good. I love his little dance that he does after his victory. I just don't like the chin aspect. I wish his chin was made out of granite and he could just go to war with Tom Nolan. I expect this to be an absolute war. I might just get my popcorn, sit back, and watch the kickboxers get to work. With that being said, guys, 24 years old for Tom Nolan. He has so much time to learn in the game. And with a win over Slava Claus would put him, it would put him on the map. I think a win over Slava Claus, especially in his hometown, it's very possible. I want to pick Tom Nolan, but I'm going to go my boy Slava Claus. I know I said he's my boy after I just violated him, but I'm going to go Slava Claus. Let's go Slava Claus for the win, my guy. Let's go. Good kickboxer from Russia. Let's see if your chin holds up. I think you should be able to win this fight. I don't know if this fight goes a distance. I might throw in over 2.5 just to play with fire. I'm going to go Borshchev. And I'm sorry for the slander. Let's go. Borshchev. All right. Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. Another anticipated fight. Jack Jenkins. A little tongue twister for me. Jack Jenkins. Peter Piper picked up pickles. Let's go. Jack Jenkins. Plus 186. versus Gabriel Santos, who's a minus 245. Jack Jenkins pressures, and then he looks for control to slow down the fight. He has 5 fights in the UFC with 9 takedowns total. Gabriel Santos is a beast, a powerhouse who cuts the cage very well and shoots. Sometimes brawls, gets hit more often than I like, but cardio will be the biggest factor for this fight. Gabriel has had to be working on his cardio, please, or else he's going to be looking like Said Nurmagomedov after 5 minutes. Gabriel Santos for the win. He fought at LFA and is fairly new to the UFC. Let's go, my guy, Gabriel Santos. We know Jack Jenkins, correct me if I'm wrong, but he had that beautiful beautiful win over. I can't say it was beautiful because he got taken down by Herbert Burns. But I'm going to say that Jack Jenkins is somebody that I was very high on. I was very high on Jack Jenkins before his loss to Chepe Mariscal. I will say I always like to watch Jack Jenkins fight. He's always an absolute brawler. And he should be able to win this fight. Obviously, majority Tapology has Jack Jenkins. Gabriel Santos being a minus 245 is disgraceful. But I will say, 28 years old. He just fought 4 months ago. Obviously, he had that good win over Herbert Burns. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. All right, so with that being said, guys, this is going to be one of those fights where maybe the over 2.5 is a little bit of a better play, or maybe the fight goes the distance is a better play because of how much of this fight might look. It might look a little sloppy. If Gabriel Santos is not able to get this fight to the ground and he ends up getting tired, the hometown crowd can easily, the hometown guy, he can easily win this fight easily. I think Jack Jenkins is good for a live bet. I'm going to see who is winning the first round after the first 30 seconds. I'm going to go for a live bet. I think I might take Jack Jenkins in a live bet. I'm going to go Gabriel Santos for now. Very low confidence, by far my lowest confidence pick on this entire card. Give me Gabriel Santos to win this fight, but I might live bet Jack Jenkins. I think a live bet is perfect for this fight, and I think taking that this fight goes the distance is a good factor. It's a good play. Let's go. Main card time. We're already at the main card. Jake Matthews minus 235, Francisco Prado plus 180. This main card is not the best, but at least we have some fights on Saturday. And then we got football, guys. Jake Matthews, very well-rounded and a very good shot selection. He just beat Philip Bro by decision. I prefer when Matthews mixes it up, when he wrestles and he strikes and he keeps his opponent guessing. Francisco Prado versus Daniel Zellhuber was an absolute banger. You can see how hittable Prado is in that fight. He will look for a takedown, but always slows down and he doesn't move his head. Prado might be too explosive for Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews needs to wrestle, mix it up. I like Jake by double chance by KO on points. Me personally, I think Jake Matthews by double chance by KO on points is perfect. I will say Francisco Prado is pretty big for his division. For lightweight, he's pretty big. He's filled out. He fills out in his weight class. And after the weight cut, he looks huge. So with that being said, guys, this is going to be one of those fights where these guys are almost mirror matched. Obviously, Jake Matthews has a slight 3-inch reach advantage. I don't know how much of a factor that'll play, considering he should be able to want to wrestle in this fight. You don't want to stand up too much with Francisco Prado. He's going to be trying to explode and look for an explosive overhand right or an explosive uppercut. I will say Jake Matthews is he had a very good performance against Michael Morales. Obviously, it went to the distance and it looked like a sparring match, but the fact that he was able to stay in there and not get finished, very impressive. Against Matthew Semmelsberger, obviously he lost. I had him there, but it was a competitive fight. Obviously, he didn't look his best there. Against Darius Flowers, he was able to win that fight by submission, rear naked choke. And then his performance against Phil Rowe, I guess some people say that it wasn't that good, but at least he's winning, and he's showing that he can go full 15 minutes still over time and time again. He's very hard to finish, Jake Matthews, in my opinion. And if he does get finished, it's by knockout. But I'm going to go Jake Matthews. I'll take him by KO on points. Give me by KO on points. I know maybe submission on points might be a little bit better because he just won by submission over Darius Flowers. But I will say I like by KO on points. I feel like there's a KO on points happening. If you want to take by submission on points, you can. Give me Jake Matthews. Give me by KO on points just to get a little bit more value, because I think Jake Matthews is more than likely going to win by unanimous decision. I'll go 29-28 after losing the third round. Yeah, I'll go third round. Let's go, Jake Matthews. Let's go. I expect his cardio to be way better than Francisco Prado, though. So that would actually be an amazing fight. I can't wait for that fight. Let's go. Let's be optimistic. We got a good card ahead of us. We got a banger card ahead of us, guys. We got a banger card. Let's go. Lock in. Lock in, everybody. Lock in. Jimmy Crute. As I say that, we got Jimmy Crute. Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato. Welcome back, Jimmy Crute. Welcome back. Welcome back, my guy. Plus, it's like when you don't see your friend in a long time and then you see him. What's up, bro? How you been? Jimmy Crute, plus 130. Rodolfo Bellato, minus 166. Jimmy Crute has come back from retirement. Finally. The guy who went to war with Alonzo Menenfield is back. We have all been waiting for him to come back, of course. Jimmy Crute lost to leg kick TKO to Anthony Smith, and he lost to Jamal Hill. You can't get worse than that. Jokes aside, Jimmy Crute better have been working on his wrestling. He has to be working on his wrestling because he cannot maintain top control if his life depended on it. Against Alonzo Menenfield, this guy is going to war with Alonzo Menenfield. Alonzo Menenfield's a guy who is running at Carlos Ulberg and gets knocked out within the first round. You shouldn't be going to war or going to a draw with Alonzo Menenfield and then rematching him and then losing by submission. That is an absolute disgusting red flag on your record. But I will say, Jimmy Crute, you need better top control. He can't maintain top control if his life depended on it. He shoots and shoots and shoots, and he can't check leg kicks. He gets hit way too much. I guess you could say he's kind of well-rounded, but he just claimed that he retired after he went to war with Menenfield. Matched up against a very tough test in Bellato, a hard wrestler who struggles to get the fight down, but has excellent BJJ, chases sub after sub. Bellato, 2 losses are to Vitor Petrino, who we know just got fraud checked bad. Bellato just recently beat Ihor Potieria, who is no longer in the UFC because he danced on Shogun. Jimmy Crute was declining prior to his retirement. Let's see how he does. I'm going to go Bellato. So, I know a lot of people are going Jimmy Crute. Plus 130, he's good. He's the younger guy. You know, ring rust, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to go Rodolfo Bellato inside the distance. I do like Bellato by submission. I know he's more than likely going to get a TKO. More than likely this fight doesn't go the distance. Jimmy Crute lost. You can argue that he lost all 4 of his last fights. But if we're going to be technical, he's lost 3 out of his last 5. And 1 draw and 1 win. And that 1 win to Modestas Bukauskas, which you can say is a very good win, but I think Modestas Bukauskas beats him now. Bukauskas is so much better than him now. Give me Bellato to win this fight. Maybe I might pick flip when we see the face-offs. I don't know if he's coming in for a check or if he's coming in to win in front of his hometown crowd. Give me Rodolfo Bellato to win this fight inside the distance. I'll go by KO or submission. Double chance to finish this fight inside the distance. This is going to be another banger fight, guys. Talison Teixeira versus Justin Tafa. Another fight that definitely doesn't go the distance. Talison Teixeira minus 160. Justin Tafa plus 124. Talison Teixeira was supposed to make his UFC debut earlier at UFC 310, but he got injured and pulled out. Now he's fully healed and he's fully ready to make his appearance on UFC 312. Talison has more height and reach, but his record is padded. He's undefeated after fighting Cans. His first real test is Justin Tafa, a powerhouse with beautiful kicks, beautiful low kicks, obviously, not no high kicks. You don't want to stay in the pocket against Tafa. If you wrestle Tafa, that's his weakness. He just lost to Carl Williams after getting taken down 7 times. 1-800 gambler type fight, but I'm going to go Talison, but very low confidence. The kicks will be there for Tafa. Tafa is durable, and we don't know how good Talison is outside, in the outside striking department. If he can dance around the cage for 15 minutes, if he's not able to get a finish. Fight doesn't go the distance is maybe a good prop, but it's probably juice like the Terrence McKinney and Damir Hazdovic. With this fight right here, I'm going to go Talison Teixeira, very low confidence. Obviously, majority Tapology is going Teixeira, but he's making his UFC debut. And how confident are we in UFC debut? So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go Teixeira, and I'm going to go Teixeira by KO. I'll go by KO inside the distance, guys. I'm going to go by first round TKO for Teixeira. Let's go over Justin Tafa. Let's see what you got, my guy. Let's see. Put him in with the big dogs. Lock him in the cage. Let's go, Teixeira. I cannot wait for this fight, guys. Tatiana Suarez versus Weili Zhang. By far one of my most anticipated fights on this entire card. This is going to be one of the most elite matchups in the entire card. If it doesn't end in the first or second round, this fight is going to be an absolute war. Weili Zhang, or Zhang Weili, however you want to say it. Minus 118. Tatiana Suarez, minus 108. My most anticipated fight on this entire card is a title fight at 115. I can't wait for this matchup. It's about time Suarez gets her shot at the title. Suarez has submitted 2 former champs in Alexa Grasso and Carla Esparza. Also, she just recently destroyed Montella De La Rosa and Jessica Andrade with a guillotine choke in round 2 for both wins. Tatiana averages more than 6 takedowns per fight, 7 wins in the UFC, with a total of 27 takedowns. Her wrestling is very, very elite. taking on Zhang Weili, one of the most elite strikers and well-rounded athletes at 115, looking to make her third title defense against Suarez. She lands almost 6 significant strikes per minute. She's coming off of a very dominant performance against Yan Xiaonan. I think leg kicks will be a massive factor in this fight. The fact Weili's a minus 118 is crazy, but it's because she has been taken down 6 times in her last 5 fights and only has a 50% takedown defense. Zhang is the better striker, more cardio, and less prone to injury, and usually fights whenever she's ready, that being like once a year. Suarez can win the first and second, and then maybe she gasses. I think Suarez needs to find a submission in order to beat Weili. Weili might shoot a takedown on Suarez, but that might not be the smartest idea if she gets tangled up. She needs to nullify Tatiana in the grappling department, but Suarez has an amazing shot selection, and I think she will be too much for Weili. We know the guillotine choke, the Darce choke, all these submission attempts are going to be there for Suarez. It's a matter of whether she's going to be able to get this fight to the ground. Is she able to get this fight to the ground, or is she going to struggle to get this fight to the ground, and she's going to be forced to strike with one of the most accomplished strikers in the UFC strawweight division? With this being said, majority Tapology is going Weili by decision. And if you're going Weili, more than likely by finish, she more than likely gets a TKO more than a submission. If you're going Suarez, if she's going to finish his fights by submission, it's a pick your poison. Weili by KO or on points, or Suarez by submission or on points. With this fight right here, I don't know. Suarez has never won 5 rounds before. If she has, let me know. Undefeated, relatively untested, but she's fought former champion after former champion and destroyed all of them. Weili she's an absolute demon at her division, a dominant champion, and she's a 6-time. I think she's fought for the title 6 times. So with that being said, she's looking to make her 3rd title defense. This is gonna be one of those fights where I do think maybe a guillotine choke could be there for Suarez. But I will say, guys, with this fight right here, I think one of the best props is the over 4.5. Maybe if there's an over 2.5, I think this fight goes the distance. This is gonna be one of those fights though where you might just want to watch for fun, maybe look for a live bet. As it gets to the 3rd round, maybe you want to do a good little live bet. With this fight right here, I'm going to go Tatiana Suarez, guys. I'm going to go Suarez, and I'm going to go by guillotine or Darce choke. I'm going to go by sub. I think she has to win this fight by submission. 35 years old versus 34. Suarez is not that much younger. She should be taller. She has a 3-inch reach advantage. I'm going to go Suarez. I'm going to go Suarez by submission or on points, and I'll go by 2nd round submission. Let's go. That's going to be a tough fight. Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland, whatever, Sean Strickland. Let's go. Minus 210 for Dricus du Plessis. Sean Strickland plus 162. Fight goes the distance. Yes, minus 164. No, plus 128. I think this fight goes the distance. Dricus by submission on points, plus 100. Dricus by KO on points, minus 125. And then Sean by KO on points, plus 165. It's a pick your poison. A year ago, at UFC 297 Canada, Strickland won 1-3-5, in my honest opinion. And DDP was saved by a head clash in the 4th round and dictated the judge's decision because Sean Strickland was bloody all over his head. Dricus has never lost inside the UFC. This fight, no matter who wins, all these guys are going to go crazy. Dricus' face looked like mince meat after the fight with Sean Strickland. His eye was getting picked up. His eye was getting picked apart from that jab, and Dricus had around 6 minutes of control. Dricus is enjoyable to watch, and he's enjoyable to watch scrap. Dricus is a brute with relentless pressure, very good cardio. Ever since he fixed his nose and he got that surgery, he's been looking way better, and his cardio has been looking way better. The most human I've seen DDP look was against Darren Till and Israel Adesanya, who are very good strikers. His most recent win was Israel Adesanya, where he absolutely bullied him. Now Dricus is looking to make his 2nd title defense against his former foe, Sean Strickland. Many people make fun of Sean Strickland because of his jabs, teep, jab, jab. He's one of the most defensively sound MMA strikers of all time. He walks forward, lifts his knee to threaten you, and always keeps you guessing. I think his knee lift throws off a lot of people, and a lot of his opponents get confused. They get mixed with the constant pressure, mixed with the raising of the knee, mixed in with a beautiful 1-2. Sean Strickland has a 77% takedown defense. Some people think that takedown defense will get lowered after his fight with Dricus du Plessis. He probably does get taken down. This fight could look like the first fight, but Dricus can adjust. Instead of losing the first round, Dricus might wrestle hard, win the first, and change the whole trajectory of the fight. I wonder how Dricus game plans for this fight, because Dricus has an amazing team for game plans. We saw against Robert Whittaker, he had an amazing team and an amazing game plan. And against Israel Adesanya, after 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the round, then he would push the pace in order to get Israel Adesanya tired. Dricus du Plessis is a mastermind. And I think if there's a finishing upside, you might have to favor the finisher. Because if it's a mirror match and these guys are very equal and it's a close fight, you might want to favor the guy who can finish the fight. Because if this fight ends inside the distance, something happened to the point where it's dictating the entire fight. I will say, guys, this is going to be one of those fights where I think this fight goes the distance. At a minus 164, it's perfect. I already jumped on it that this fight goes the distance. And I'm gonna pick Sean Strickland to win by decision. Obviously, we know Dricus du Plessis, you get 30 times better. You get 30% better when you become champ, especially after you defend your belt. He's going to be looking to make his second title defense against Sean Strickland. And this time, it's the rematch. Sean Strickland he's going to be looking to he's going to be looking to take the belt, and Dricus is defending the belt. So they switch positions. I will say with this fight right here, guys, it's going to be an absolute war. Something's telling me this fight's going to be an absolute war. I think this fight's going to get bloody. I think maybe Strickland gets cut open again. Maybe that same cut opens up again. Maybe there's scar tissue. Maybe it opens up again. Maybe the jab is working. Teep, 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 jab, jab, jab. How long can you get away with that? But I will say, game plan is going to be very important for this fight. If Dricus du Plessis comes with the right game plan, his team is phenomenal at making game plans. So, the right game plan, this guy can make Sean Strickland look like an absolute wet noodle on the ground. If he's controlling Sean Strickland on the ground and Sean Strickland's not able to get up because he's in the middle of the open and he's not able to use the cage to get up to his feet and he's getting controlled for an entire round, Dricus du Plessis is going to look like a minus 500. And I don't know if no matter what Sean Strickland does, he'll ever look like a minus 500. I think Dricus du Plessis has more ways to win this fight, but I do think he just bruises up way too easily. And maybe there's a little bias. I gotta rewatch it. You know, obviously I just finished watching it as well last week, but I gotta watch it again just to keep it going, just to see if I see any habits. With that being said, guys, I'm gonna go Sean Strickland to win this fight. 48-47 split. 48-47 split Dricus du Plessis, and for the winner by split decision, 48-47 Sean Strickland. They did my boy dirty last time. He won round 1, 3, and 5. Let me know what you guys think, guys. Are you guys excited for this fight? Are you guys excited for this card? What do you rate this card 1 through 10? And Dricus at a minus 200. You might want to take him now. You might want to put him in some parlays, because maybe after the first round, Dricus du Plessis might look like a minus 500 if he takes down Sean Strickland and is controlling him consistently. I will say Dricus du Plessis has way better cardio now. We don't have to worry about how his cardio is going to look. I think he's already mastered his cardio. After that surgery, he's looked phenomenal. And maybe Sean Strickland doesn't have a lot of different tools to bring to the table, and that could maybe be the start of his own demise. So I'm taking a little bit of a risk here. I'm playing with fire here. Medium confidence. I'm going to go Sean Strickland. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for this fight? Are you guys hyped for this fight? And what is your most favorite fight on this entire card, guys? I'll go Weili Zhang and Tatiana Suarez for me. Let me know your most anticipated fight. And let me know who you think lock of the week should be. I hope you guys enjoyed, guys. Let's go. We have football on Sunday. And we have a good weekend on Saturday, guys. I can finally just chill, watch the fights, sit back, and make some live bets. I wasn't able to capitalize that much on betting this Saturday, but this Saturday, I'm definitely going to capitalize on some good live bets, and I hope you guys are ready. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. The best is blessed, baby, and I'll see you guys at the top. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I'll see you guys at the top. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Ayy.